Hey, it's Urthboy here, and I am with the AAU Review.
Well, I'd like to briefly just go back to September, and you put out a beautiful single for for your daughter. Can you talk a little bit about about putting that out? Because you mentioned, I mean, the first thing you mentioned is family and how how blessed you are in your life in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, I was very inspired. One of my favorite songs by a West Coast hip hop group who are really, super political, is a group called The Coup. And they have this song called Wear Clean Drawers. And it's the rapper Boots Riley writing a song for his daughter, and it's a revolutionary song. It's talking about sticking your finger up at the system and being able to combat the institutionalized racism and sexism that she was going to face as a little girl growing up. And I was always inspired by it. I never thought I would write something, but when I sat down and thought about, I've got to at least go there and try and write a song, with my daughter in mind. That song came to my mind, and I realized I couldn't write that song because it's already written. But yeah, I mean, it's nice being able to do it, and it also adds a little bit of a different, I don't know, it takes on a different level in live shows, because it then becomes something where you're talking to the men in the crowd at shows, and you're calling everyone to account, and you're saying, hey, we can be better. We don't have to continue the kind of ignorant, Neanderthal, primal, arrogant male act. We can actually recognize the areas where we kind of fuck up as men. And, I like being able to talk to the audience that, because it's not just me telling the audience, it's like me with them and be going, hey, let's like, there's no groping here, man. There's no disrespect here, We're equals, so let's just make sure that this is a safe place. If anyone is doing anything, call it out, this is important. And I realized that partly by that song that I hadn't done that before, hadn't really thought about it from that perspective, even as political as the Herd have been in the past. We hadn't really covered that. I haven't really thought that stuff goes on at gigs. But
that comes with being younger as well. I mean, at the time of the Herd, and that not maybe being as apparent as it becomes when you become a father and see things from a different perspective. Maybe
so, but it's also just awareness of what it's like being a girl at a gig.
Yeah,
I'd never had that, obviously, but there's no excuses anymore, because we're all aware, and we don't have to be thinking about our sister or our mum and the way they're treated at gigs. You don't have to kind of like put your own partner in that spot to be able to empathize. You just have to kind of bring it back to basic decency.
Yeah,
it's really pretty goddamn simple.
I hate it when politicians come out and the first thing they say in something like this, I have a daughter, so I think it's like you don't have. It's frustrating.
Yeah, but I mean, that song, people listen a little bit more when I'm coming from that angle. Yeah. I'm not just, hectoring people and lecturing them. I'm saying, hey, look, I want this crowd right here to be the type of crowd that my daughter would be comfortable in, and when she goes to gigs. And I think people will respond to that in a different way. It's about going, yeah, fuck, let's just be cool. And I think for the most part, our audiences have generally been cool, but you never know, do you? Because it's not like you've got a complaints form and they write to you going, hey, this happened at a gig. It only happens every now and again.
Yeah.
There's
Facebook for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we all like to pretend it doesn't happen, but
yeah.
Yeah.
And you just dropped a new single.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been working on political music this year. I've been working on trying to come up with some stuff that's a bit more, direct, because that's always where I've come from. It's what I'm interested in. But then I was working on this song, and the melody of the thing I was working on, the first words that came to mind after when I'd come up with this melody was these lyrics are in Wade in the Water, the final song from my record. And they just fitted perfectly with the melody that I come up with. It was a bit uncanny, and I thought, that's a ridiculous thing to use lyrics from a previous song. So it started to make sense as a kind of part 2 to that song. And it's a very different take, but it's in the same kind of ballpark. So all of a sudden, all these other songs that I was working on and was thinking about releasing ahead of this tour got put to the side, and this one just went, okay, it's happening. And I love that because, you know, most people in any kind of line of their work, sometimes it's laborious and it's time consuming and it makes you want to, you know, rip your hair out. And other times things come easy. And this was one of those times where it comes easy. And while it comes easy, it's very suspicious. So I'm just still a bit suspicious about it.
I mean, it's got to come easy every once in a while, doesn't it? Can't always be hard.
This is the thing that you hang out for as a writer, you know? You're always hanging out for those particular songs that come easy. Yeah, they don't come very often.
So 2017, what's in store for you at the beginning of the start of the new year?
I'm going on tour. I'm doing some shows in the new year, but I'm going on tour in March, and we're going to do a bigger tour, and we'll have new songs, and we're trying to up our game on every level. We haven't done that many festivals. We haven't saturated ourselves around, so
It's been more boutique festivals this year. It's felt like you've popped up here and there with.
we've done some great shows. I mean, I've had a lot of fun, but we just haven't been on every festival, which is good because now we do our tour and we can sort of save it all up for our own shows. And I love that. I love watching bands go. Well, we love those festival opportunities. They're great. They're amazing shows. But I love those bands that are just like, nah, we're gonna concentrate on our own shows because you can just really focus in on your audience and respect your audience by making sure that, you know, you get to deliver the whole journey of a set. And
Yeah. And also,
sounds like a wanker, but you know.
and also for young bands as well, I think it's so important for them to grow in that environment as well, and you know, put that pressure on themselves to be better,
Yeah.
and perform better and engage better, and
Yeah.
and you know, I think a lot of bands starting to skip some of those steps and in some of their earlier stages.
Right, yeah. I mean, you know, I'm slow, you know. I mean, you got it first here. I'm slow. You know, like every single thing I've ever done in my life is I've learnt slowly, but I've just continued and I've persevered. And music's no different. On stage, I learnt slow, you know. I spent many times, many gigs, many tours with awkward banter and, you know, just not really getting it. But you hang in there long enough and you kind of starts becoming a little bit more, you understand the stage. You understand a little bit more about what the crowd want, because you know, as a person who's been in the audience, you don't want to have the performer be a particular type of performer. You just want to be entertained. I feel like I'm a much better entertainer these days.